And then they rapidly went through hyperinflation and food shortages to the point that like people were eating rats and shit. And then they were like, okay, I guess white people can own farmland again. But all of the white farmers had left at this point, and they were like, why the fuck would I go back? Why the fuck would I go back there? And they were like, okay, but you see, white farmers, we need you to come back. Please come back to Zimbabwe. It's fucking too late in here, right? When does Wakanda get involved? What did Zimbabwe use before candles for lighting? Electricity! Why would I go back to get my land seized? Yeah. Their 2023 submission cited a 2012 Supreme Court of Appeal ruling emphasizing a balanced approach to water licensing. The Western Cape government rejected the quotas, advocating a needs-based approach to avoid economic harm, given South Africa's high unemployment rate. Sakeliga, a business advocacy group, has opposed racial quotas in other contexts, and has contextualized the current wave of reforms as the third wave of BEE, the use of race-based licenses to shut minorities out of various markets. Coming from an American, I read this, and I read minorities as the way they talk about minorities here in the US. But I think they're talking about white people in this context. I think. Because that's the only way that it makes sense that they're opposing racial quotas. And also saying that they don't want to use race-based licenses to shut minorities out of various markets because that's what is happening to the white farmers there. So you gotta sort of use the correct thinking instead of the correct thinking. Third wave B. Yes, you're a minority. We have South Africans in chat, so I'm sure if I say something wrong, they can try to get my attention and be like, hey, it's actually this. White people are the minority, but they're not, sadly. Listen to a white Zimbabwean once tell us the story of how their economy tanked so hard his life savings could only get him a meal for him and his wife. I think it would be fascinating to talk to somebody who, like, lived before major economic collapse in Zimbabwe. I don't even know how I'd find somebody like that to, like, talk to them. Smart eating the 5R. This reminds you of the Baton Rouge days, the white blue with black people most affected. Now, you're not making any assumptions, you're just noticing a pattern. Sort of like the article we read the other day where federal government gets all of their, like, frivolous spending cut, black people most affected. They've recently won victories in pushing back such practices in other areas, such as the real estate and property sector. The DWS defends racial privilege as necessary to revenge past practices as mandated by the National Water Act. In 2023, it clarified that exemptions apply to mining companies, state entities, and 100% black-owned businesses, protecting elites connected to the ruling party. Of course. If there wasn't government corruption, it wouldn't be a government in Africa, after all. Pretty sure white is the global minority. I mean, yes. Yes, you are correct. Callum has interviewed a Rhodesian man on his channel. Callum's video on his trip to Zimbabwe has an interview with a Rhodesian. Man, sometimes I wish I was a man so I could travel alone to these dangerous countries. Mining companies owned by China, no doubt. Wouldn't surprise me. Have good points, but you're talking about the country you love and whose people genuinely care about their country, regardless of retarded government? What do you mean?
Space manager.
The guy keeps saying all the cool Rhodesian songs. Oh fuck! That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. You and the boys visiting Afghanistan. You're a man and you don't want to travel alone.
I hope you don't.
There is no great.
I mean, yeah, it's slightly safer than traveling as a woman, but like, you'd probably still feel better if you had some people with you, and you definitely.
It is an ancient text.
Together, like, at least with a local person who can guide you around the less dangerous areas, as it were. Your mom is Rhodesian, she left when she was 18, so you know a guy, or person. Really? That could be fascinating to get, like, if she like, lived there, to, like, listen to stuff that she lived through. People in the country who care, it can change.
I don't think I ever said
South Africans don't care about their country. I don't know what you're talking about, man. As a man, you are probably just as likely to have your booty took. Oh know. Traveling to dangerous countries is just natural selection of idiots. It's
Maybe
always
that's
weird to me
why
when people are like, I'm gonna have a peaceful biking through this dangerous country. I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Where was I reading? After August 2023 report, radical non-racial South Africa.
Oh shit, my weapon broke. Alright. The dragons do it. Oh!
Alright. Yeah. Dragons. Yeah, thank you, G. Thank you. I'm gonna have to put them on right now. Jesus Christ. Bro, it's got a... Oh my days. Yes, mad. Speaking that shit. Say she. Oh my god. Yeah, this is nuts. It's got a special effect, bro, when you use a Soul Jade. One of them ones, yeah, dragons.
아니 길이 여기밖에 없네. 아 뭐야. 이거를 그냥 없애야 된다는 건데. 없애야 된다? 넘어가면 못 넘어오거든? 야, 어서오세요. 이거 어떻게 넘어가야 돼? 나 이거 알아. 알려주지 마세요. 난 천재니까. 그래서 아니요. 이미 알아냈어요. 그건 다 알고 있었어. 가다가 뭐? 깜짝이야. 살이 어떻게 찌냐? 이걸로 시작을 하면 이제 없어요. 야! 이거 아니야. 디지몬처럼 생겨가지고. 야야야야. 안 놀랬어. 아. 안 돼. 무섭다. 나만 무섭나? 여기 막힌 거 아니야? 하라는 거야. 절로 가라고? 장난하나? 네.
У меня такой Синоби был, когда у нас заруба была, помнишь? Помнишь зарубу на Синоби? Только билд будет другой. Я решил упороться в дамаг. Вот, короче, качаю вот эту вот хуйню. Вот, старт early и вот эту вот хуйню. Уже старт early вкачал.
It's crazy.
Вот такой рохлый билд. All резы, life regen. Мне нравится больше. Ради магии. Память.
Underleveled and now hunted.
내가 어디로 나왔었지?
Вообще перки на добивание по дамагу самые сильные. Да вообще на самом деле выгоднее просто критули настакать. Да блин, стартуй с 20%. Хотя бы, я не знаю, он урон порезал может. До 40%. Хотя бы поднял бы, блин, порог до 25. Чтобы с 25 начиналось. Там оно выкачивается просто
Let's take a nap, get some food.
очень долго. Ботинки-то зачем? Майса-то эти нахер. Кто бы прикол, что я считал и франжером ходить. Не, ну я считался старым Final Judgment. Когда там брал старт early, у тебя 45% начинался порог. А там было, да. И со старым процентом урона, когда было 50%, а не 40. А там было выгодно. Не, ну сейчас тоже выгодно. Чуть-чуть,
Killed by a
наверное,
drain zone too.
выгодно.
Well, I just got killed by an egg that looked like it had
빨리
mine.
와.
I'd never seen that before. Like, what the hell is that thing? Shut up. Enough fire rooms to fill my
Без понятия сильнее критов получается, как ты раскачаешь, может спокойно накачать. Так там требования по левелу высокие. Даже если захочешь, все перки вложить не получится. Там он выкачивается к 100-му левелу или типа того.
status reward.
Если ты захочешь качать, не качаешь. Там гарма, там, во-первых, требования по силе, а у самой синергии требования по левелу и по
We
нажару.
don't.
Да, и 600 битсей надо.
The odds.
Голову.
It's
Interesting.
아니 이럴 때
Окей.
This has full player co-op. Yep.
В добивании просто выгоды особо нет. Там, например, одно дело
Have you ever played RuneScape?
у того же, как его, у Савагера, сноубол эффект. Да, там типа первые тычки, как будто критуля у тебя, и ты станешь
Well, I did a
мобом.
little bit.
А
but
потом, когда у мобов хп становится меньше, у них стандартшот уменьшается, и ты их дальше станешь дальше. Типа Салагер, например, со своей хуйней, он от начала и до конца моба станет, а этот хуй, блядь, все равно станет не будет никого. Пастор такие правильно.
Giant rats should be.
I hope you're not squeamish.
Нет, на последних хитпоинтах, конечно, он будет станет.
We go get chat once.
Вообще, кстати, даже возможно будет станет героем.
Yes, that's what chat.
Если эту хуйню раскачать.
Yeah, they're giant rats.
Ну, просто хочу через дамагу, хочу, чтобы было весело. Хотя бы какое-то время. Хотя бы какое-то время до момента, когда станет грустно.
Bleeding too. I'm not healing, but I'm bleeding. I think that's bleed. Is there a way to check your status of what that means, chat? I think it means
Так,
bleeding.
теперь
but, like,
топник.
how do I know?
Я вроде бы всю хуйню собрал. Можно было хилпотов больше
Oh, so
взять.
good.
Да, в пизду.
Oh, there's that lapis plant that hates me. Maybe I can sneak by.
아니야, 아니야. 아, 여기 내려왔잖아. 이리로 가야 되지 않을까?
Going good.
Ебать, конечно, этого шинобая будут знатно.
뛰어내는 게 맞아.
That more copper.
넘어가지 말고.
Oh, great bones of dinosaurs. Wonderful. Very. Oh, great lightning.
그리고 뭔가 숨겨놨어.
If I get hit by lightning, I'm out.
죽여버려.
Ooh, iron ore node. I probably can't mine that until I have bronze. Oh, I'm in the storm-touched highlands.
야, 쫄지 마. 쫄리네.
Probably don't want to be there.
얘는 어떻게?
So the storm-touched highlands, chat. That's probably even higher level than where we are now. Oh shit. Okay, so yeah, everything wants me dead. Yep. Now I'm being attacked by lightning, and probably some sheep. Because why not?
불쌍해.
Оп, марганит напал. Сейчас будет левелап. А что на левелапе брать? Ну, под ледяные пещеры можно фокус взять. Можно ли ты чекиться нормально? Колечко. О. Перк. Можно, в принципе, и не брать пока.
쇼컷이 없는데 이게 맞아?
Я родной Манреген двойка. А Похуй.
It's not big, it's
Пусть будет
floofy.
тройка,
Okay.
все, фокус.
Floofy, but
Щит покажи. Щит?
castle there, that means
Какой щит? Обычная хуета.
more copper, but I need to get granite.
Но у Шиноби щиты смежные с ассасинскими,
Didn't take that for granted then.
этими, ассасина, воина и инквизитора. Некоторые базы есть. Но суть одна.
몇 번까지 올랐어?
Но это только буквально первые 3 сложности, а потом дальше тупо ассасинские. Один в один.
The building's very good, but I want to build with other materials, so that's why I'm looking for new
뭐야
stuff.
이게? 아 뭐야?
I want to go down and get
왜?
in, which looks like it's down. Oh, he sees me too.
Амулет буду юзать в ледяных пещерах. О, максимальный ролл. 4 монорегена. Но у меня еще колечко на монореген есть. Я еще и фокус качну. Еще и тут монореген. О, новый тир щита. Магия, и щит и магию потом. Заебись. Урезы. Урезы магии. Все, магия и обман. Короче, могу стенки выучить. Главное, чтобы еще латник вол упал.
How did you die?
오.
А мне нужен твоя одежда мотоцикл.
My HP reached 0.
Oh, well.
А, о, поясок, кстати.
When an icy ball of hatred and
Это,
revenge
конечно, не
beats in
меди.
your breast,
어디를
anything is possible.
На старте позволяет книжки почитать. Что-то я погорячился, рановато фильм нажал.
I rolled out stuff to try to avoid enemies.
Ну,
선생님! 아니 줬어 나 어떡해요?
I'm not allowed.
все, фюри кончилось, резист упал. И Дейфил.
아이 개새끼들아!
Что этот не Шиноби себе позволил? Вообще на хоры, я думаю, вообще, что он себе позволил. Срочно звоните Мордору.
아니 상대되고 있냐 이렇게?
В катакомбах творится беспредел.
첫 번째 못 그랬잖아.
О, латник. Не, нахуй мне латник не нужен.
Can't do farming yet either, which would make it a lot easier to help
Stop
manage the food
saying that
situation,
name.
so we don't have to go out.
아니
Well,
I love farming.
You siblings.
О, блин, Панама. Доброй ночи.
Can you get wings, Ashley? Well, you can do this like jump thing, wind step, but I didn't have enough step to win or whatever. I'm just gonna go get my stuff.
아 이거 진짜 너무 상도덕이 없다.
Go build a shack and go die in it.
О, фейс-контроль встал в виде
미안해요.
гоблина. Ну пусть там
너
стоит.
잡기 전에 피를 채우고
Такая
있어야
затычка,
돼.
хорроровская затычка.
Can I like pin a quest? Just, oh wait, there. No.
약을 개같네 이거.
Ну ёб твою мать,
Yeah.
пройдет
That'd be
кто-нибудь,
it.
нет?
Alright, we're going in, we're going out, chat.
어딘지도 모르겠잖아.
What's on the RuneScape docket today? Die a few more times. Complain about my problems.
I will rescue them first. I won't leave anyone behind. Your kindness will not go unnoticed. It's good stuff.
Respond to emails on time. Well, there probably won't be time for emails, so let's get the crying.
I like a good cry. I get it.
Oh, there's good cry?
Yeah, you know.
That's
My favorite.
So you made me laugh. You already got one thing down.
Все, да, закончил удовольствие в виде фири. Что там упало? Нихуя не упало.
Ah, that's better.
My favorite.
More tin down there too.
또 있다고?
Да, без фири он, конечно, не так бодро разваливает сюрикенов. Особенно, когда сюрикен говно.
Could you imagine, Chad? If I was to not die in Elden Ring once.
Так, стоп, там еще их тридцатка, окей.
아, 이게 초컷이 내가 놓친 건가?
Ну да, что-то я не представляю, сколько там монстров осталось. Вроде стою, бью. Этих меньше не становится. Мне уж ссать захотелось.
또 잡아라.
I went to McDonald's yesterday. No Minecraft meal though. Although
Provides
Minecraft-
a large chunk of food that
It was
South
on
Africans
water.
eat. Now, because of the government interfering and because of the government discriminating against this farmer based on his race, let's say that half of his crop doesn't lead to harvesting.
Sorry.
And now there's a shortage. Now the price goes up in that area, or even if it's a big, massive farm across South Africa. But, you know, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. But once again, it's just like, it's almost like the ANC has not learned a single thing from the apartheid government. And
The McDonald's
instead of
Corporation
wanting to fix the country,
acknowledges
they are
Canadian
doubling down
infrastructure
on revenge.
inadequacies.
They don't want to fix
They don't want unification. They don't want fixing the problems. It's the same in the United States. People wanted like a post-racial America. People wanted the like kumbaya, let's come together, let's not care about racial differences. I grew up
That's
with
as
that.
dumb as like in America.
And
when
we
have
had
President's Day
periods
and
where, at
Memorial Day,
least
and
to
it's
me
like,
growing up, it
hey,
seemed like
troops
nobody
died in
gave a
World
shit.
War I
Maybe I just
on
didn't
bloody,
notice the programming. Maybe I was
rat-stricken
just like
battlefields, and
too
also the
young to
Spanish
see what was
flu
going
at
on.
the
But
same
it
time.
felt
Anyway, come on,
like
buy a mattress.
people
Buy some
largely
mattress,
didn't
buy
fucking
50%
care.
off. Like, what the hell?
And now we have the wordings again. We have
Come on. Hey, come on out.
we
Buy
have it
King
being like
Day,
we
come on
want
out and buy a
revenge,
chair.
we want reparations, we want white people to
колечко,
suffer now.
пятое, чекаю.
And it's like, well, you're not going to reach like any sort of
Константин
post-racial thing, and I guess that's the fucking
Да в
goal,
смысле,
right?
похуй куда.
I guess that's the
Амулет.
goal.
이렇게 피가 없는
If you
Второе,
are
допустим,
promoting
Малореген
segregation and you're promoting hatred towards
Малорегена
somebody,
нападал.
you're not going to get them on board with wanting things to just be all better.
Ладно,
They were getting sucker punched after getting along in the 90s and 2000s.
Что, я монопод возьму.
In the 90s, yeah, we're moving towards post-racism. And it's like, I want to believe that was the case, right? But it's like the Marxists were still doing shit, and we still had that programming, like I've mentioned before, with like reverse racism and reverse discrimination. Even when I was a kid, and I obviously didn't notice it, I used reverse racism as a real term.
Come and join
There's
the
no such thing
bloodshed
as
already!
reverse racism, but even then they were trying to paint an us against them narrative where it's like racism against white people doesn't exist, racism against minorities exists, and sometimes there can be reverse racism. And so they were already trying to make that dichotomy that white people were in a privileged position, they were in a position of power, they were like this monolith above other races that needed to be like put in a special place and then give these equities to other people because of that privileged position. It's just like reverse rape. Said quite a few times, the Marxists never forgave the Anglos, starting with the English, but also including America, for not having the Great Socialist Revolution before Russia did. And it's like, that's why things like the Smithsonian Museum, like, article on white privilege is confounding to me, because it's like I never looked at non-white people and been like, they don't have work ethic. That is white supremacy culture. Because that's an insane thing to think, right? It's insane to think that only white people have like a sense of familial structure or a sense of work ethic or a sense of time. Like that was just incredibly racist.
The sea dogs of war.
But apparently, that's what the correct people think. For reverse racism, the idea that if X race is given extra benefits to get a position or a job easier because of potential racism bias, ironically results in people being less likely to choose someone of that race in the profession due to the assumption that they had it easier. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I have no idea how you got that definition. Reverse racism was always implied to be when a minority is racist towards a white person. It's not racism, it's reverse racism. Or like if a white person is discriminated against, that's not discrimination, that's reverse discrimination.
Repaired.
And most people could understand, wait, that doesn't make any sense, that's kind of bullshit. But we haven't really had too many people in positions of power, in positions of government, or in positions like the EEOC, put that in plain text. That'd be close to the bigotry of low expectations. Yeah. It's always sounded derp. Yeah, exactly. If you don't have enemies, you're doing something wrong. That's always what you were taught. I can't imagine you being taught that. I can imagine you being online and coming to that conclusion yourself, because that's what reality is.
I'm fixing up my armor.
The reality is that when people are given affirmative action, when people are given positions in education or in a job field that they don't deserve, and they were only put there because they're a woman or because they're a minority or because they're gay, people start making more discriminations against those people and saying, oh, I can't know if you got your job because you're good at it or because of the color of your skin or your genitals or your sexual orientation. That's just how things are. That's not what it's taught, though. Reverse rape is also a thing. Like, I heard that. I haven't heard of reverse rape, but I have heard that in the UK, women can't be charged with rape because under their legal definition, rape is like specifically penetration or something like that. I don't know if it's changed, but I have heard that. It's the same thing as the far left feminists are thinking women can't be sexist. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's so bullshit. Racism is discriminating against someone of another race. Reverse racism is discriminating against people of your own race. I've never heard that definition. If you look at the African countries objectively, why could Japan go from medieval to world power in 60 years, but centuries on, Africa is still struggling? You'd rather believe that it's culture rather than race. Yeah, but you can't talk about that at all. That's upsetting to people. You were taught that you can know the worth of a person by who their enemies are. It might be an 80s baby thing or a military brat thing. I don't know, because I feel like my enemies are mostly worthless. It's not changed if you're called correctly. It's something like unwilling penetration with a penis. That's so weird. That's so fucking weird. To be fair, women could always get jobs because of their genitals, just not the same way. You know? I think that's actually the reason why they had to declare trans women aren't women, because of the grape laws that are in place. Yeah, potentially. But I mean,
come and join the bloodshed
if it's specified with a penis, I mean, the trans women still have the penis for the most part. So I mean, I don't know.
Cry havoc and let loose the sea dogs of war. Your souls are so fragile.
The inverse of your enemy's work. So yeah, we're
fix things and improve things. No, they want to dish out revenge and make people suffer, which indirectly will cause the poorest of the poor to suffer. Now, this one
Shall
example,
I
survive.
just realized it's taken me 8.5 minutes in this video to notice that he has a pickled rapist.
not actually lead to, let's say, prices going up. But just think about this. If this is but one example of hundreds, maybe thousands, then that has a massive impact on the prices of whatever the farmers aren't allowed to receive water for. So this is a massive issue. And I do know that AfriForum is taking this on. I will post the
How do
link
I
in the description
build
below
a
where you can go and see what
rune
AfriForum is doing to
essence?
fight this, and well done
no,
to
a rune
AfriForum.
altar.
But it's just so absurd that, you know, in this country where everybody's just trying to play their role and ensuring that the country survives, we've got the ANC government that is now discriminating against people based on race for how much water they can receive in order to provide water for their plants or whatever for their
It's literally so insane that it doesn't sound real. Like, it boggles the mind that this is something that's actually happening.
animals on farms. It is absolutely absurd, and this is how race obsessed South Africa has become. I mean, you know, no lessons were learned from apartheid, it seems. It's just like, no, okay. You know, we didn't like the race-based policies when it was against us, and then we fooled the international community to say we just want equality and we want to live in this rainbow nation. And now, in 2025, there's 142 race-based...
You have to understand, communists just hate you. They just hate you. There's no rhyme or reason. You can't use logic in any of these. They just hate you.
laws. They've got broad-based black economic empowerment that initially is that if you want to do business with the government, you need to provide a certificate to show that at least 30%
The
of your
eyes we
top
are born
management
with
is black.
lie.
Now
we
that
have
we
that in the
cultivate
U.S. as well.
seems
We don't
true.
have to show it to the government, but people in the economic sector will freeze you out if you aren't a business that we're adhering to these race-based hiring practices and board statistics. We talked about, oh god, that stock market thing. I can't remember what it's called, but we talked about that recently where they just dropped their required quotas for having so many women and so many minorities on the C-suite in order to count for like the fortune stock thing. I can't remember all of the words, chat, but you guys remember we read about this on stream. It wasn't as bad because it wasn't the government, but it's like if you're able to get your business completely freezed out of areas of participating in the economy, it might as well have been the government at that point. Like, fuck. At least Johannesburg looks nicer today. Oh wait, the roads got unpaved. How do you unpave roads? Most successful businesses just want to make money. You would think so. Adam Wofford, they vibe. Is he talking about people living on dune? All about water? You're waiting for him to say something about the dangers of sandworms? I'm sure South Africa has dangerous sandworms somewhere.
they want to adjust that too and ensure that eventually, irrespective of whether you do business with the government or not, you might have to have some black people in management positions if you want to register your business. Like, you know, get the documentations for your business, your PTY limited. I mean, it's just counterproductive in every single way. Here's a black farmer that does not need the water, that's willing to either give the license or the water allocation to a white farmer that clearly needs it, because why else would the agreement be there between the two? And then you've got the Department of Water and Sanitation that says, no, you're not allowed to do that. We're not going to meet our quotas. So sorry, Jan, or Piet, or Dirk, or whatever the white farmer's name is. And it's just like, sorry, we don't care if you're not going to be able to, let's say, harvest 100% of your crop. You must not make do with 50%, even though it's going to affect us and as a country and the people that buy these things, because now everything's going to be more expensive. It's just absurd. It's insane. It's like, it's just absolutely absurd that you are being discriminated against on how much water you can get. I mean, can it get any more petty than that?
Yes.
Anyway, that's pretty much all I gotta say. Please be sure to smash the like button. Please be sure to subscribe. Please be sure to share this video far and wide.
Yeah,
That
BK
includes on
is
WhatsApp, Facebook, X, whatever social media platform you use. And then lastly, if you would like to support me or this channel, you can do so by becoming a member. You can do so by clicking the
I'll let
join
him
button
chill.
below.
I'll let the
And
show play.
that's pretty much all I gotta say. Till later. Cheers and peace out.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for the information, guys. It's always nice to hear, like, an on-the-ground perspective of someone who lives in a place that I do not when I'm reading stuff about their country. Here's a link to the video. Here's a link to the video. White farmer, can I have some of your water? Black farmer, sure, buddy. ANC government, I don't consent. Our racist policy matter more than what you want in an agreement. Oxygen allocation, correct? Giant earthworms is in Australia? Because of course it is! Yeah, true. Yeah, true. Honestly, the more you see the world, the more you believe. Oh boy. Bring back the free market. It just seems absolutely ridiculous. Like, I obviously understand why the government is doing this. And it's literally just racist policy. And I don't want to see DEI make these kinds of strides in the US. because it like, things will just get exponentially worse if that happens. Look up dry sex. What the heck? And the men don't beat the women for this behavior. Oh. So dry sex is when the man purposefully fills the vagina with sand to make it dry because of some superstitious belief. It's not the woman's fault, my guy. I don't blame woman equals funny, but no, it's the men's fault. Excuse me? Yeah, it's you know. We had all the jokes about like that female like rape prevention condom thing where they stick this thingy inside their vaginas and it's got like spikes on it, so when the man tries to pull his penis out, it like tears it to shreds. Right? Like, everybody's seen that image, right? Like on 4chan back in the day. Yeah, there's definitely a reason for that existing. Not according to the Vice article. Textured for both of their displeasures. You don't want to. The anti-rape condom. Significantly worse than what you thought. Oh man, let me bring up an article.
So you had your McDonald's? Now you're snacking on some poutine chips?
No, I had it yesterday. Shawarma.
Oh, we're getting very ready for Monday night.
No, I guess it's not limited to Africa. It's also Indonesia. Oh, I was also slightly incorrect.
I just want to build a house.
I was slightly. It's not the men who physically do it. The women physically do it, but it's for the sake of men. The horrific practice putting women at increased risk of HIV. Man. African and Indonesian women dry their vaginas with sand and bleach to make sex more pleasurable for men. Women around the world are carrying out a practice which not only leaves them in pain, but at increased risk of HIV. Dry sex involves women reducing moisture in their vaginas in order to make intercourse more pleasurable for men. This can lead to cuts, sores, and inflammation in the vagina and increases the chance of a condom breaking. These factors in turn increase the chance of the woman contracting sexually transmitted diseases, including HIV. Dry sex is known to be carried out in South and Central Africa and Indonesia. It is born out of a cultural belief that men find sex more pleasurable if a woman's vagina is dry, and that men will reject women whose vaginas have been stretched out by sex. To achieve dryness, women insert chalk, sand, pulverized rock, herbs, paper, or sponges before sex, according to journalist Miss Seifert, who has reported on the practice in South Africa. They also douse their vaginas in detergents, antiseptics, alcohol, and bleach. Women in Java, Indonesia, even smoke out their vaginas by standing over burning herbs. This practice has come to America, actually. I've unironically seen spas in my area who are offering, oh god, what is it called? Vaginal steaming, where they have these like special throne chairs that have like a hole cut out in them, and then you sit over the hole and you like, you spread out your goober, and then they put like a bowl of really hot water and and like herbs underneath you, and you steam your vagoober. And I was like, I don't understand why you'd bake your clam in this manner. This doesn't make sense to me. I thought, you know, some cultures do things that just don't make sense. Racial quotas in South Africa. I sleep. Women putting sand in their vagina. Real shit. I mean, one is obviously worse than the other, but one is funny, and the other one is just depressing. This is the most painful thing imaginable. I was like, I don't understand, man. You don't want the pussy to taste like Gam Gam's crock pot stew? Yeah, that's what you put in the anus. In other areas of Indonesia, it is common to insert a cigar-shaped stick made of a plant root. While the World Health Organization consultation papers show global health officials are aware the problem exists, most of the research on it is decades old, and there are no broad figures on its prevalence. A 2009 study looking at how dry sex spreads HIV in Zambian women found knowledge of the practice was widespread. Around 2/3 of the 812 women polled had used traditional dry sex medicines at some point in their lives, and about half were currently using them. I would like to know the statistics of how many women who do this traditional dry sex medicine also have been victims of female genital mutilation. Because it seems that if women have been mutilated and can no longer feel pleasure from sex, they might have a bit of a warped sense of what makes sex pleasurable to the men. And if they're also used to just random increased rape statistics, they're probably not very aroused when that occurs. And so yeah, they probably come under the assumption that maybe men like it dry. You know, dudes don't sleep with women when they think the pussy needs to be dry. Ooh, you're so right, breasty. This is some parody shit. A reluctance to discuss sexual health meant the practice was not debated. The researchers concluded most of the available information has been anecdotal, speculative, or inadequate, mainly because of cultural reluctance to discuss or investigate personal sexual issues. Similarly, a sexual health clinician and campaigner in South Africa told Vice most people are aware of the problem, but it is not talked about, and hasn't received enough attention from the country's government for policies to be drafted. Dr. Marlene Wasserman, commonly known in South Africa as Dr. Eve, said the practice of dry sex shows the lack of education relating to equality and women's rights in the area. It's definitely a class issue, she told Vice. Basically, a woman's reputation depends on the size of her vagina. Chat, maybe the white men aren't so different from the Africans after all. The amount of, like, random dudes online who genuinely think that, like, you can tell that a woman's a whore because she has floppy vagina is a very silly thing to say.
It took me an hour.
And you only need to stretch your brain cells to the maximum amount of, if I have a virginal wife and we get married, I want to have sex with my virginal wife. But you're not going to only have sex with your virginal wife once, are you? You're going to want to have sex with said virginal wife many times because she is your wife. So you're going to fuck her not once, but probably multiple times a week. So using floppy vagoober as a whore indicator status is very silly, because a woman can have sex with her husband 7,000 times, or a woman can have sex with 7,000 men. One of those women is a whore, and one of those is a good wife. How floppy can it be before you become a little sus? What do you mean?
I mean,
she's not virginal after the first time, Kirsha. I've seen guys who think the hymen is a way to tell if a woman is a virgin. Oh my god. And some women just come equipped with bigger lips naturally. I don't mean, even the lip size doesn't determine the, like, inside pressure of the vagoober. And even then, if you have some, like, reason for, like, not having a very strong pelvic floor, you can just do fucking exercises, man. One adjective stops being relevant after one night. Some women just get those beef curtains. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. The key to be too small is that the woman is basically still a virgin. What? What?
Right, you're saying the
make multiple conquerors.
Yeah, chat.
Why would you be seeing the vagoober of a royal wife that isn't mine? That's the kind of attitude we need. Don't seek out a vagoober that is not going to be yours forever. Oh god. You know, like the reverse meme of that, where the man's sausage has been crushed by vaginal pressure from sleeping with multiple women. Yeah, the more women you sleep with, the smaller your dick's gonna get from the vaginal pressure. It's not like Bonnie Blue just has a giant hole between her legs. It's still together enough for her profession. And just realize the guys with small penises, they're the ones making claims of loose vagoobers. Here's the solution, get a bigger penis. Stop having skill issues. Oh my god. Look up Nina Hartley in the 90s versus now. Those beef curtains get stretched out. I mean, I wouldn't know. I've never had enough sex for anything to get stretched out. I can't imagine it being genuinely possible, though. Based on how skin works, I can't imagine it being possible. Like, if you do weird fucking shit, like, sure, maybe. Like the women who are putting, like, fire hydrant-sized dildos inside of them, sure, maybe. Right? Because that's not natural. But you're not going to achieve that with, like, average male penis. That's just not realistic.
We should have been playing Lost, guys.
You don't think it has much to do with sex, but rather age? Everything starts hanging low with age, man. Please do not put a fire hydrant in your vagina. You do date the gays, Kirsha, so that makes sense. Even the average penor changes with age. Yeah, you guys balls, you're gonna be able to whip him around like a fucking medieval torture item. That's just getting older. The skin loses collagen, yeah, right? Like how I specified male penis. You know, sometimes my brain just says things. Dust to the floor as we walk around. Yeah, you can put like little fuzzy covers on them and dust your floor. Throwing a hot dog down a hallway is fine if you have a hallway-sized hot dog, and if you're the one that tunneled out that hallway in the first place. And Nina Hartley's also a porn star, probably not a good metric for normal women. I also don't know her, right? So I don't know what kind of porn she's done. Has she only done normal porn, or has she done like that weird shit where they're just like, let's see what fits in your vagina. 24 carats. Right? Like, I don't fucking know. When you're 70 hitting it from behind and they hit her in the chin. If you tunnel out the hallway, it's gonna be sized specifically to my hot dog, and that's romantic. Exactly. You wanna mold that shit like she's your clay. The fucking count laugh, man. Dry the goober is not safe for penis either. I mean, you know. You don't know for sure, but if you had to bet, you guess it works like muscle. Sure, if you lift and never stretch, you could end up muscle bound, but stretch as well and you're fine. As long as she's doing Kegels and not shoving Coke can-sized dildos up there. Please do not use your vagina as Coke can storage.
You see well.
This hole is mine, it was made for you. I mean, like, you can even kind of stretch that farther, no pun intended, by looking at articles talking about incontinence in gay men in later life. Where, like, they spend too many years putting things that are too large to go in certain places, like the butt baby. Then they get older and they have to wear diapers. You know, like, the butthole was not meant to be stretched open that often or that wide, as it were. We're stretching that shit out, literally. Wait, a vagina isn't a beer koozie? Yeah, unlike the butthole, the vagina was meant to stretch, because, like, we birth Babby. We make human exist real good. You don't think you'll do that, Foxwoman? Yes, the lifelong Kuiper lifestyle. And that's not saying that, like, yeah, it's guaranteed to happen to you. But it's like, if you're out here enjoying giving birth to the butt baby frequently, you're probably gonna be in for some issues when you're older, you know? A gay friend talked about his late 30s boyfriend needing diapers. Jesus Christ. Kirsha, where can we find good women these days? Coffee shops and bookstores be lacking. That's a great question. Next question. Like, if this was a decade ago, I would have told you MMOs. Good autistic women love that shit. But there's no good MMOs left, and there's too many, like, people there, not for the love of the game, but for the attention. So, like, I don't know anymore, dude. I don't know anymore. The butt baby, change your diet, soften things up. No, the butt baby is a real thing. I'm not using a stand-in for poop. The butt baby is an actual unironic sexual device that is shaped like a baby that gay men enjoy putting up their anus and then pretending they give birth to it. The butt baby is real, chat. Phoenix DS, thank you for the 5 Canadians. A Vagoo is not meant for equestrians. True. True. Jeez, can I unlearn this fact? Oh, yeah, I guess I shouldn't be such a bigot, right? Women could probably use the butt baby if they wanted to. I don't know why you want to, but like they have that option. Women have buttholes too. At the hashtag equality. Sadly, all the MMO women you knew 15 years ago were the guild whore archetype and not the autist goblin archetype. Yeah, it's unfortunate that there's quite a few of that. You tried the MMOs, all you got was a bunch of guys screeching at you, asking where to train your skills. I've known a handful of women who have gotten married from, you know, being picked up in MMOs, getting a boyfriend in an MMO. I've talked about even like the Brazilian dudes who now live in the US and UK from obtaining their white MMO autist women. Women could even buy 2 and use one in their front hole. Please do not front hole the butt baby. Almost met the trauma quota. Oh my god. Back to the dry sex. Among women who are less informed and less educated, there's an unbelievable ignorance around the idea that the vagina adapts to the penis. She explained that both men and women fail to understand that the vagina is capable of expanding during sex, and then back to its usual size afterwards.
Battle-worthy once more.
Eventually you can make a shield. I'll be home in the next 10 or 20 streams.
Oh my gosh.
There are people living their daily lives that are responsible for like forms getting filed and like trains running on time and electricity working and people in the government. There are people
Moonveil's wrath
running a country that don't understand the vagina is capable of expanding during sex. I don't understand how this is even possible, right? Because, like, again, if you merely think about giving birth to Babby, then it becomes obvious that Bagoober is meant to expand, right? So, like, how does this even happen? Attack of the expanding vagina! I'm gonna bubble attack you. The vagina, the transformer. Oh, I forgot to turn my BGM back on. If it didn't expand, you could only imagine the pain for most women as they got door knocked. I was like, it just feels crazy to me. Somehow they're the ones that don't have a fertility crisis. That's crazy. There is also an incorrect cultural belief that if a woman has a partner with a large penis, her vagina will remain permanently stretched and future partners will think she is promiscuous. Brother, they believe the same thing as men on the internet. And they don't even have access to the internet. How is this such a common belief? Dudes out there told they were hung like a baby and it took it to meant their dick rips a woman up. Jesus Christ. We just talked about this. That's crazy. That's crazy. The practice is ingrained in culture, passed between generations of women, she added. She continued, men aren't saying to women, put Dettol in your vagina. Instead, they insinuate that a woman is promiscuous due to the state of her genitalia. And for women dependent on their boyfriends or husbands, attaining commitment and pleasing them is extremely important. This is why we have a very booming industry of
the shadow will shortly begin to
plastic surgery on your vagoobers in the United States. A lot of men believe that if a woman has beef curtains, that means she is a promiscuous whore, because they believe that the friction while having sex is what creates the beef curtains. When it's just like, that's how you're born, dude. Some women have nice, tidy vaginas, and some have like an Arby's sandwich. And some men really like fucking getting sauce all over their face when they eat a sandwich, alright? Like, who cares? That's just what it looks like. Oh, but for some reason, men are just like, yeah, if you have long labia, that means you're a whore. This is what you're agreeing with when you perpetuate that kind of shit. I just want you to know, you are literally the unintelligent portion of people who don't have sex education in Africa. If that's what you're saying. Who the fuck thinks that? We literally had a guy in chat like 10 minutes ago talk about how a porn star has floppy beef curtains because she's taking so much dick. We literally had someone just say that. Wait, I didn't order ketchup on my Arby's meat tower. Kirsha Chan going full whammies this stream. What do you mean?
One thing I might
Your hair's not wet. You're not
say
eating
would
it
be
right.
best
Oh my god, put your horsey sauce on that roast beef
Тактика
sandwich.
сундуки.
Jesus Christ, grab them and flow into them to make them flap. You know, sometimes you gotta be a bit of a comedian, right?
Шинобики
The idea that
опять.
pain is normal or acceptable during sex has taken hold, she adds, and most women in South Africa would not think of sexual pleasure as something they necessarily have a right to. Again, I'm not sure exactly what area they're talking about. I know generally female genital mutilation is a common practice in a lot of places. So I feel like this is probably a result of that, right? Like if you've gone generation after generation of just knowing that you get cut up and you're not supposed to experience pleasure, it's not something that these people will ever think of. Right, it's like, it's not even something that will come to mind because it's just been so normalized that, yeah, sex for the woman is painful. It's not supposed to feel good, which is really sad when you think about it. Because it's like part of the fun of having sex with someone you love and care about is that it does feel good. Idiots in my chat, more likely than you think. A paradoxical madness thing to buy. Well, some countries on this planet needed others to turn the wheel over, so... South Africa's more Christian, so SDM is less likely. But it's like, I mean, again, I could be wrong, I don't know specifically what areas of South and Central Africa and Indonesia they're talking about. But if FGM was common in these areas that they've gone to talk about the sexual practice, that makes sense to me why they would believe, like, yeah, it should be as painful as possible. Hell.
I will not die.
And especially if men are talking about, like, oh, if the woman has like a knee curtains or she's floppy or she has had sex with a large penis, she's ruined. It makes sense that women would start doing crazy shit like putting sand and bleach in their vaginas in the attempt to make it fucking tighter. Because again, in the US, while we don't put sand or bleach on it, you do bleach your asshole for men sometimes, though, unfortunately. Like, I don't, but that's a porn show. That men unironically ask women to bleach their buttholes because they're used to the bleached butthole in porn, and they're not used to, like, what a normal women's butthole looks like, which is like, yeah, there's gonna be discoloration, dude. It's skin that barely ever sees the light of day. You think we're going outside, pointing our asses to the sky and sunning our buttholes, man? But in the US, instead of putting petrol and bleach and fucking sand in vaginas, we can just go to a doctor and be like, hey doc, can you chop off our lips? Men will think I'm a whore if I have them, so let's get those taken off there, guys.
Immaculate once more.
You've literally never asked for this.
Sharp as
no man has ever asked for that. Again, like the article states, men aren't saying to women, put Dettol in your vagina. Instead, they insinuate a woman is promiscuous due to the state of her genitalia. Which is why, like, yes, an intelligent woman is going to look at a man saying, you have floppy labia because you're a whore, and think he's an idiot. But some women will take that programming and be like, oh, men won't want me unless my vagina looks like this. And then they will go to a plastic surgeon and they will get themselves fixed to be what they think men want because they're told that is what men want. Even if that is not what men want. It is insinuated by the things that are propagated culture. Men have standing, women have standing, it's alliteration. Longer curtains just mean it's a window to clean. Oh my god! African women bleach their entire skin to look more attractive. I mean, that's a thing in Asia. They have a lot of skin lightening products. Sex, sandwich, sleep, men aren't too complicated. You would think so. You would think so. But like again, cultural programming is there and it's something that is very permeated, right? Like look how young women start putting makeup on, right? Culturally, we're bombarded with you're not going to look pretty unless you wear makeup. Men aren't going to find you attractive unless you wear makeup. You want to look pretty, don't you? And yes, there are women who do makeup because they like the way it looks. They do it for themselves, blah, 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 whatever the fuck I'm talking about generally. The cultural messaging is men will not find you attractive unless you wear makeup. And a lot of men will be like, I don't care about makeup, I like them natural, and then they'll bring up a face of a woman who's completely caked in makeup and be like, see, I like a natural woman. They don't even know what no makeup looks like anymore. It's all propaganda all the way down, baby. That shit's from magazines and ads run by gay men. Most guys don't give a shit.
we're thinking at.
I have also personally dated a man who literally used the sentence, "I feel like you don't care about me because you don't wear makeup."
I said cute
Anecdotal evidence is not statistics, but using cultural evidence, I feel like is...
The shadow
right,
will
and when
shortly
it's a
begin to
bombarded
spread.
cultural phenomenon that women are told these things,
Ну, понятное дело, что еще
yes,
никто не
men might
докачает,
not
им надо
actually
уже и
care
глаз
about it,
закидывать.
but the programming is there to make women believe they do. And men will feed into that by once again bringing up fully makeup-faced women saying they like them natural without makeup. But that woman is not natural. She is wearing makeup. And then women will play into this further by taking pictures of themselves with like hashtag no filter, hashtag no makeup, and they're wearing foundation, they're wearing concealer, they're wearing highlighter, they're wearing lipstick, they're wearing mascara, they're wearing fucking eyeliner, right? Like they do it in a way to make it look subtle so that you can't tell that they're still wearing makeup and you think that it's natural.
우리가 확인 안 했냐?
Aside from running mascara makeup hate, only date women whose vaginas have been sculpted in an accurate representation of the Sistine Chapel. Yeah.
They say,
Yeah, like I'm not saying like men bad men have done thing. It's just like it is a cultural programming thing that we're all told when we're young. I'm not a guy, but I'm sure there are things that are told to men like women won't find you attractive unless you do this. My ex arguing for circumcising his kid, should he have one, I think is a good example of that. A lot of men will want their sons circumcised because they're afraid of women making fun of their son's penis. Which is an insane thing to say, mind you. I was like, why would you care? Why is that a reason to cut his dick? That's stupid. Running down the eyes. Don't ever cry in front of a woman. Funny, that's pretty much true though. It's not. It's not true. You're not the fourth kid. Your sister said that for her first kid and you almost crucified her for it? That's crazy. That's crazy that people think that, dude. Only in the US because you have that stupid Kellogg man back then. I mean, yeah, again, I'm talking about cultural programming. I live in the US, so obviously I'm talking about cultural programming from a United States point of view. The not wearing makeup sets off your autism, something fierce. Let you get this straight, you spent $400 on cosmetics to look like you're not wearing cosmetics? Yeah. Yeah, it's a little crazy. And it's like, I don't know. When I was younger, I was bought makeup as a child. I was bought like, you know, stick on nails and stuff. I was given the items necessary to become women's, and maybe that's why I was more tomboyish when I was younger. Because I was like, I just want to like go outside and play Pokemon and rollerblade. Why do I have to like put on earrings? Why do I have to put on fake nails? Why do I have to put like all of this paint on my face to just go out and do something? And like I got bullied for it. I got bullied for it in school when I got older, in like late middle school, early high school, later high school, because I didn't care about my appearance because I didn't wear makeup. I wasn't a woman. I played video games and I dressed like, you know, goth. I fucking wore more pants than dresses. I didn't feminize myself more than what I already looked like as a woman. So I was bullied. I was called like a lesbian, you know? It was weird. It was weird. And it's doubly weird because I was like told that I was a lesbian and men wouldn't be interested in me, and yet my school also celebrated the like you should be gay and not straight bullshit. So it's like doubly crazy that that's like something people would say to me as like oh, men will never love you, you're a lesbian. But then it's like, shouldn't I be celebrated for that if true? Back when lesbian was a slur, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. Tomboy erasure. So many of the girls you like the most ended up lesbian. I was like, I will never forget, right? Because like I didn't wear makeup, so I didn't have like even like scented chapstick stuff. Because I just didn't wear it. And so like when I smelled like some other girl, I think I was in like 4th or 5th grade. I smelled some other girl's like berry chapstick that she had, and I was like, oh, that smells really good. Do you have candy? And they made fun of me, thinking it was candy. They were like, well, if you were really a girl, you would know that it's chapstick. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna eat chapstick and become fat? I was like, what? No, I don't want to eat chapstick. It just smells like candy. What do you mean? You remember at primary school you were told off for saying someone was a lesbian, that it was a bad word? Jesus Christ. Hold the fuck on, chapstick has a smell? Yeah, women love scented chapstick. I mean, in current year, I do have scented chapstick. It's just good to keep your lips lubricated, right? Take care of your skin. Look, I do have that shit now, but like when I was a kid, I just didn't care any about any of it. Won't eat chapstick, will eat candles. I have standards.
The shadows.
I got a.
You're the one who's wearing candy on your face, bitch, right?
If you queue,
Ironically, if you'd gotten a hot girlfriend and pretended to be lesbian, all the boys would be into you. You know, probably. I should have played into it. I should have played into it. They knew the Foxy was superior, so the girls teamed up to take her down. Jesus Christ. No, I was fucking like very autistic, nerdy when I was a kid. You know, I just like I loved talking, but people were scary. Like I got like so many detentions for talking too much. I was just a yap maxer my whole life. You heard it here. Kirsha says you should keep all your lips lubricated.
What the hell is this?
You deaf grew out of that by now. You mean hoes do that? Pretty much every female thing you know IRL, when asked, said they prefer average to something bigger. What?
No, actually, well, I was in
what? Is she talking too much? All you can think of is dry sex. Babe, why do you think I want a tiny stray pebble in my cock? Oh god, you'll admit it's funny to see a lipstick off women's lips after they freshly applied it. Much pouting from ruining their work minutes after applying it. I've only weared, by the way. My IQ is dropping as I read these articles. I've only worn makeup a couple of times in my life. And every single time I've worn makeup, I'm like, how do fucking people do this? Like, I can just feel it on my eyes the entire time. I can feel the weight of the mascara. I can feel the, like, shit on my eyelids. I can even, like, feel on the lines of my lips, on the lines of my eyes. And I'm just like, this bothers me. This is, like, the feeling of this shit, like, layered on my skin bothers me. I can't touch my eyes. If my eye waters, I have to, like, daintily dab it with a tissue and hope it doesn't take off some of the makeup. Like, I know they have waterproof makeup, and I've worn that too. But, like, some of it still smudges. And especially if it's a darker color, like, that's gonna be noticed on my frail Victorian child's skin. And then, like, if you're wearing lipstick, I don't think I have ever had a, like, lipstick that passes, like, these... I've seen videos of women who do, like, a napkin test where you put on lipstick and you wait for it to dry and then you, like, put your mouth around a napkin and the napkin's supposed to come out without any marks on it, right? I've never had this happen, and so like when I drink, when I have lipstick on, and it leaves lipstick like on the straw or on the rim of the glass, I'm just like, well now it just looks dirty. I don't want to put my lips back on like the lipstick part. Like that's I don't like that. Maybe that's just my autism though. Maybe that's just my autism. You're reminded of the multitude of videos of a guy going up to men and women with a tape measure and telling them to pull out 6 inches. The guys are always spot on. The girls that have 3 inches are terrifying. Yeah, I can't tell things. I can't tell how big things are by measuring them. But like, I feel like when most women are just like, yeah, and you know, I'm gonna have to be like at least 6 feet tall. Like, bitch, you can't tell if someone's 6 feet tall. You can't find like a guy could be like 5'9" and you'd be like, yeah, he's 6 feet. Like you can't fucking tell. That doesn't matter, dude. So check this. Kirsha wants to drink. She hates it. What? Are you sure you were actually tested and found to not have autism? Everything you say with yourself sounds just like what you and your siblings do. I've never been tested for autism. I've never been tested. I can't tell how big things are. She's so perfect, Right here, you do wear it when streaming political events, right? No. Other way, you're 6'5" and you were told you weren't that tall. What the fuck? Pro tip, say you're 5'10" to filter out the dumb women with the man 6 feet. That's fucking pro strat, dude. That's pro strategies. Like, you do a little bit of fishing, right? Like you're 6'1" and you work in finance, but you want to find a woman who's not gonna use you, so you're like, yeah, I'm 5'9" and I'm a garbage man. That'll filter out the dumb bitches real quick.
We'll make it work. We'll make like a
date
nice
a woman with small hands, Chad. 5 head moves. I'm probably not autistic, just ADHD. I don't know if I have that either. I've never been tested. Undiagnosed, but probably sure. All the autists in chat tell me they think I am. They've accepted me as one of their people, despite not being diagnosed. Garbage men make shit tons of money. Garbage men still make good money, but they're looked down upon by fucking materialistic women. That's why it's a good filter.
Nice.
Pretty sure you are. Fuck you, chat. Everywhere you go, you dress like you're broke. I mean, I dress in a way that I think is pretty, but I'm not out there wearing like fucking super expensive shit, you know? I'm always on that like, this dress is $45. I don't want to pay $45. Let's wait for a sale. Whether you are or not, in my heart, you will always be autistic. There needs to be some like serene music playing against that. 77% comorbidity with ADHD and autism. Interesting. Have I been trans all along? Not autistic, possibly gifted. It's like being autistic about everything. Designer brands are a scam anyway. Worst leather you ever saw in your life was a Louis Vuitton purse. I've never owned a Louis Vuitton, and I looked up prices of Louis Vuitton, and I was like, most of these are so ugly, why would you pay this price? I don't understand. Your bro somehow copped a sundress woman and he's mean as fuck to her, it's crazy. Why would he do that? Why would he be mean to her? You have ADHD and a psychiatrist for autism. You got upset, so they did it. I don't know, I feel like if it's offered to test, like why not, right? Why not? Back to this article. Fucking the idea that pain is normal or acceptable during sex has taken hold, she adds, and most women in South Africa would not think of sexual pleasure as something they necessarily have a right to, which is depressing. That's really sad. Dr. Wasserman said, I've been part of a task force with the World Association of Sexual Health, and we've launched the Declaration of Sexual Rights, the right to pleasure, and we've really been pushing that. Okay, well that sounds weird. You don't really have, like, the right to be pleasured by other people. So maybe they just worded it really fucking weird. But like, they should sexually educate women to be like, hey, sex should feel good. And if men are trying to convince you that sex should be painful, that's a bad person, actually. Give them the education. You wonder if you get diagnosed with something these days. You can be a little OCD. Where's my government hooker? You will suck the feminine penis, bigot! Women are surprised that that's one of their rights. We know 33% of women have and talk